Hey, my name is Sean LeBlanc with Gorilla Property Services, and I'm here to show you guys the step-by-step process on how to clean a dryer vent today. All right, so basically the first step is to find and locate the dryer vent on the property. As an example, the property that we're here today, the dryer vent is actually located up on the soffit here to my right. Um, just as a good practice, a dryer vent can sometimes be on siding. It can be in the soffit like this one here today. It can also be vented right from a roof. There's different types of dryer vents in which we're going to kind of give you a glimpse and show you some pictures of the different styles. But you want to start by locating where the vent is. If you're having a bit of confusion as per which one is the dryer vent, because sometimes it can be beside a bathroom exhaust fan, air exchangers can be confusing which one is which. Ask the customer to turn the dryer on, and then you're just going to be putting your hand and looking for the vent in which warm air is coming out, as a bit as a helper to make sure that you're cleaning the right vent. If you notice that the dryer vent cap is broken, because normally they tend to be a little bit cheaper, they're made out of plastic, and you can buy them at your local Home Depot for anywhere between $10 to $25. We always carry a bunch of them in the trucks. If you notice that the one of the door flaps isn't hooked on properly or broken or has a crack or any sign of wear and tear on the dryer vent cap itself, it's important to let the customer know because we can just go ahead and easily change it. All right, so now that we've located where the dryer vent is outside, it's now time to go inside and just have a look to see where the dryer is inside the property, what the setup looks like, to give us a guesstimate idea of how long the vent could be so that we can make sure that we do the proper job. All right, so now we're inside the property. We've located where the dryer is. It's important to come inside and have a look to see where the dryer is and analyze the situation for the simple reason that it helps you have a guesstimate of the length of the vent. So you know that if the dryer is located on the front side of the property and the dryer vent outside is in the back of the property, and let's say the property is 25 feet wide, if you're inserting your air hose into the vent outside and you're only going in 5 or 6 feet, you know that you're not in the hallway. And if you don't go inside and you have no clue where the dryer is, sometimes you think you're hitting the back of the dryer and you think you did a thorough cleaning and a full job, but you might have only cleaned half. Sometimes there can be a 90-degree turn into a vent, in which will create a bit of an issue for the hose to go in the hallway. So that's why it's important that you have an idea what it looks like inside. And also in terms of customer experience view, it's important for them that they know that you're doing your due diligence, that you're putting in that extra step of going in, analyzing, and it gives them more peace of mind that the job was done properly. Another thing that's important to keep in mind is normally, I would say that 90% of the time, the process is done from outside the property. You put the air hose in, you pull any lint or debris out, job is done. If the vent is longer, or if there's many turns, 90-degree turns into the vent, it might be nearly impossible for you to reach the whole length from outside. When that's the case, when you're confident that you're not going in the entire way, the process is going to be, so you want to pull the dryer forward. You want to unhook the air hose that goes into the wall, into the vent. And then you want to take the Milwaukee blower. You want to insert it into the 4-inch ductwork into the wall, pull the throttle, and let it run for about 30 seconds to 45 seconds. Keep in mind, we're normally two guys. When we're doing this service, there's going to be another technician outside who can actually have a look and to make sure that there's proper airflow coming outside the vent from outside. That way it gives us peace of mind that there is no blockage. Air is going through the whole length of the vent, and it provides us with peace of mind. For one-off situations where you're unable to reach the vent from outside the property, the process can be done also from inside. Now, using the blower can sometimes be a little bit more easier to force air out and make sure that the vent is free and clear by simply putting the blower into the ductwork in the wall, turning the machine on, having someone outside make sure that there's strong airflow coming out. If that's not sufficient, and you still notice that there's a problem and that it's not breathing properly, we want to do the same similar process that we're doing outside by inserting our air hose into the ductwork, turning the compressor on, slowly pulling the hose back. We want to be doing the exact same thing, but this time from inside the house. So again, you remove the ductwork from the wall onto the dryer, and you go in with the air hose from inside. You want to make sure as well that you're bringing in a small vacuum with you so that you're not leaving a mess inside the laundry room of the property. So as the compressor's turned on and you slowly start to pull the air hose out, it's important to have the vacuum right there with it. And so as stuff is coming out of the vent, it's just immediately going into the vacuum. In terms of the compressor used for vent cleaning, we use this one here. So your maximum WhisperTech compressor, tank size being 15 US gallons. You want to make sure to go with a compressor that has a minimum size tank of 15 gallons. The reason why is with a smaller compressor, if it's a longer vent, you're going to run out of air halfway through. Up to code, a vent can sometimes be between 30 to 40 feet in length. Being that long, if the vent is dirty, you're going to run out of air with a smaller tank, forcing you to repeat the process 3 or 4 times just to do one pass in the vent. So this machine here is a proven concept for dryer vent cleaning when it's that length. You want to make sure that it's fully charged and running a PSI of about 150. You want a compressor that can generate a minimum of 150. Because again, anything smaller than that, you're not getting enough air to do a thorough cleaning through that 4-inch duct. If there's a blockage or if there's a lot of lint trap debris sticking around the surrounding of the vent, it's not going to be enough airflow to take it off. So now we're going to plug the compressor in, let the air pressure build up to what we need it to be to do a proper job. Again, as long as you have a compressor with this size tank, you should be fine. For us, coming back to the WhisperTech, and you guys will hear it in a minute, it tends to be a lot less louder. So again, if the customer's outside watching the process, has any question, etc., it's easier to hear yourself speak. The other compressors that are not WhisperTech, we notice that they do a lot of noise. So now we have a fully charged compressor ready to go. Next step is to connect your air hose that will be going into the vent to do the cleaning. There's normally 2 different type of hoses that we use. You can use these kinds here, in which are a little bit more rigid, so a little bit more tough. They tend to work really well for certain vents that are longer when you need a little bit more control inserting the hose. And there's also these ones here, the blue ones, which is a little bit more like a snake. It's a lot more flexible. If there's a few 90-degree turns into the vent, you're going to want to use this one. It's a lot more flexible. It can kind of make its way through sharper turns a little bit easier. At the end of the air hose, in which we'll show you guys a close-up of that later, is a special type of spider ball nozzle with a reverse air technology tip on it, meaning that once you have reached the dryer from outside and you turn your compressor on, as opposed to shooting air forward, it's going to be shooting air backwards, reverse. So as you're slowly pulling the hose out, the air is pushing backwards. Anything along its path coming out of the vent is going to be forced outside, is the whole concept as per how we clean the dryer vent from outside the property. So now we're inserting our air hose into the vent all the way until it reaches the dryer, preparing for our process. So now that we're ready to go, we're going to put the compressor on and start the cleaning. It's very important that you're taking a video of the process when you're doing your first run cleaning so that the customer has a chance to see exactly what's coming out of the vent, along with the before and after picture of inside the vent. So now that we've ran the system, you notice this one's a new property, only a couple years old. Dry vent really wasn't too dirty in the first place. If it is dirty, you want to do that multiple times until debris starts coming out, stops coming out. Sorry, so that way that you know that the vent is clean. At the very end, we want to ask the customer to turn their dryer on. Once it's on, you want to put your hand in front of the of the little flapping cap and make sure that you're getting a strong airflow. That way we know the job is done properly. You pack the stuff in the truck, make sure that if there was a lot of things that came out, that you pick up the debris from the ground, and the job is done.